Okay, I'm going to recreate for you a chess game that I played against a computer and won in 14 moves. That is the fastest I'm ever going to win a chess game. For what it's worth, the computer made some pretty stupid moves. It was set on novice setting, but some of the moves, I don't understand why the computer did this. So, oh wait a second, I put a bishop on the pawn square. Okay, so of course I start with a simple classic pawn to e4 opening. Now this is the first thing the computer did that I didn't understand. The computer did that, pawn to g6. I don't get that. If I were black, I would have done something closer to the center. So I brought out my other center pawn, d4. Now the computer's next move did make sense. Computer brought out the bishop to attack the pawn. So now I start bringing out my knights. Knight c3, defending that pawn. Computer counters with c6. Makes sense. The computer is attacking in that square, so if I move my knight there, it's captured. Next, I bring out the other knight. Computer brings d6. Apparently, so computer's attacking that square. So the computer's attacking these two squares with pawns. Alright, that kind of sort of makes a little sense. B. Alright, now I bring out my bishop. Bishop e3, so that bishop's defending the other pawn. Alright, now, this I didn't understand from the computer. The computer brought the knight out to a6. If I were going to bring out the knight, if I were going to bring out that knight, I would have brought it out here. I don't understand what the computer did there. Alright, next I moved up my other bishop so that I've got the bishop defending the knight rather than the queen defending the knight. Then the computer moved the other knight there to c7. Alright, the next thing I did was castle, because that's always a good idea. Now what I don't understand, now the computer started getting really stupid. The computer sacrificed its black bishop for a pawn. It took my pawn like that, but I've got my bishop right there. The computer took my pawn and lost a bishop. I don't understand what it's doing. This must be a really novice setting. Okay, the computer's next move was knight to f6. Brought out a knight. Alright, that's kind of a sensible move. You want to control the center. Alright, now at this point I wanted to start doing a pawn advance over on my left side. So I brought out b3 first. Alright, this next move right here is where the computer lost the game. Because if I were the computer, if I were playing black here, I would have castled my king. But the computer did this. Brought the king out to d7. That looks like a really stupid move to me, and right here is where the computer lost the game. I don't get why that happened. Alright, so I continued my pawn advance. Brought out a4. Okay. Computer did something stupid again. Captured my pawn with the knight. Sacrificed a knight to get a pawn, and I just took his knight in return with my knight. So, here's a summary of what the computer's done. The computer has sacrificed a bishop and a knight to get two of my pawns. I've lost two pawns, the computer's lost a bishop and a knight, and the computer has moved the king out of protection. I really don't understand what he's thinking. Alright, computer's next move was d5. Finally threatening my knight. And c5 check. Okay, so when in doubt, check the king if it's safe to do so. Knight to c5 check. Computer moves the king out of check by coming up here. I don't understand why it's moving the king out. I would have kept the king back there. I would have castled 3 moves ago. Alright, next thing I did was brought my other knight up to e5. Now, I'm not sure why I did that, but I realized that it was a safe move to do, because the king couldn't take the knight because it's defended by the bishop and he'd be moving himself into check. So I was just bringing the knight into center. Next thing the computer did, f6, attacking the knight. Now, my next move, here's the funny thing. On my next move, I won the game by accident, because I did that, and when I did that, I saw that I was attacking both the queen and the rook at the same time, but it so happened that I was also checking the king at the same time, and that is checkmate. That is checkmate in 14 moves. The king is in check, the king cannot move out of check. There and there, he's in check by that knight. There, he's already in check by that knight, and there, he's in check by that knight and the bishop. Checkmate in 14 moves, thanks to a computer program playing very stupid chess.